Young Justice is a show about the sidekicks of superheroes, following a group of teen heroes that are trying to make a name for themselves. The show focuses heavily on how demeaning being called a sidekick is, how the young heroes feel like they're being treated differently because of their age, or like they are doubted and less capable because of it. What I found really interesting was how our sidekicks really serve as being sidekicks. They're all young, taking pointers from people more experienced than them, and in so many different ways, and I want to take a look about how that dynamic changes both the protege and the mentor. The purpose of Robin, Dick Grayson specifically, is to serve as a better version of Batman. Batman and Robin round the other one out. Both Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson watched their parents die in front of them, and wanted to get justice for it. The difference between them is that Grayson had Wayne to teach him, and would allow him to get that justice, and a lot quicker than Wayne was able to get his. Bruce understands how important being a kid is. He wants Grayson to have everything that he did, and in doing so, he puts Grayson into a position of growing. We understand how closed off Dick is, refusing to take off his glasses in the team's hideout, not telling anyone his name, and constantly disappearing into the shadows. All things that he learned through being around Batman, watching how Bruce handles his secret identity, and seeing firsthand how closed off he is himself. In episode 15, he introduces the entire team to Zatanna, using their real names, but refers to himself as Robin. Dick understands Batman, and wants to be like him. Dick, like Batman, has a habit of putting the mission above everything else, even at the cost of his friends. During episode 14, Aqualad tells Megan and Dick to complete the mission, and when Megan loses connection with Aqualad, she brings this concern up to Dick, who shuts her down immediately, saying that isn't their job right now. Dick wants to be a leader. He wants justice, but what Batman wants for him is to be better. We hear this from Bruce directly in a scene where he's talking to Wonder Woman.
Since you indoctrinated Robin into crime fighting at the ripe old age of 9...
Robin needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
So he could turn out like you?
So that he wouldn't.
But this sort of thing is really hard to tell to a child who looks up to you as much as Dick does. It's something that he has to learn for himself. And he does learn. In episode 16, the team is placed into a fake reality, the creation of Martian Manhunter. But the fake loss of Artemis sparks such a reaction in Megon that everyone forgets that they are in a fake reality training scenario. As the plot progresses, we watch Calder, the team leader, take a bullet to save his team, which leads to Robin taking up the role of leader, something Dick has wanted since the very beginning. During his first vital mission as team leader, he leads all of his friends to their death. He puts Superboy out as bait to be disintegrated so that the rest of the team can progress. He lies to their team about their goal to rescue the Justice League, knowing that they are gone, but still letting Wally believe in it, leading himself and Wally to their doom. He accomplished the goal. They did blow up the alien mothership, but at the cost of everyone that he held dear. And it's this revelation that shocks him to his core. In the following therapy episode, we get probably my favorite Dick Grayson moment where he realizes this.
I finally become leader and wind up sending all of my friends to their deaths. I know I did what I had to, but I hated it. When we started this team, I was desperate to be in charge. Not anymore. And that's not even the worst of it. You can't tell Batman.
Nothing leaves this room.
I always wanted, expected, to grow up and become him. And the hero bit, I'm still all in. But that thing inside of him, the thing that drives him to sacrifice everything for the sake of his mission, that's not me. I don't want to be the Batman anymore.
In episode 21, we see Robin being disappointed with being made team leader for a mission while Aqualad is away. This is the very first time since the fake reality mission that Robin has been tasked to lead. He allows the team to go off mission in order to help a family, and I believe this is his stepping stone in order to stepping out of Bruce Wayne's shadow. This is a decision that Robin himself had allowed that strayed away from the mission, and it worked out. This episode, I think, really showed him that he can lead on his own merits, and we see that manifest in episode 24, when he leads the team on an unassigned mission investigating burglaries involving Haley's Circus. Dick slowly escapes Batman's shadows, and learns to grow to be a better leader because of it. Wally's goal as Kid Flash is to carry on the Flash's torch to the next generation. He's meant to be the heart of the team. Wally is the most energetic, empathetic, and the most grounded. He constantly tries to cheer people up and to make people laugh, but he's also the one who wants to still have parts of a normal life, like a birthday party. He laments school just starting and just wants to have a beach day, as seen in episode 6. He understands people, even if the things he says comes across jokingly. One of the things that I love the most about Wally is how connected he is to everyone on the team. He's Dick's best friend, he's close friends with Calder, he's a part of the 3 that rescued Connor, he has a crush on Megon, and he ends up having feelings and dating Artemis. Now try and find a meaningful connection from Calder to Megon, or Connor to Artemis. They're not that close, but Wally on the other hand has a strong connection with everyone, going deeper than just being a part of the same team. I really like that in episode 5 we can see Wally using his speed to protect his friends from getting hit. He feels betrayed that Calder kept information from the team, hurt that Calder would even consider him or Robin a mole. We see him warming up, being closer with, and even complimenting Artemis. We see his efforts to impress Megon, but while doing so, he fixes Connor's motorcycle. One thing that I want to put more attention on is the friendship between Wally and Dick slowly evolving. We see that Dick is slowly opening up and telling Wally his name and his past at Halley's Circus. It's really sweet. In episode 20, we really see the importance of Wally West. The episode takes place on Wally's 16th birthday, and all he wants to do is celebrate it and be with his friends and his family. But instead, he's tasked to go on a mission, running across the country to deliver a heart to a little girl, all on his own, while the rest of the team is finally paired up with a Justice Leaguer. On a real mission with the Justice League, Wally's left alone to run across the country. Normally, he'd be able to do the cross-country run and deliver the heart on time, but he makes the choice to stop and fight with Vandal Savage for a few minutes, wanting to have some fun and to show off. Despite making the 4-hour timer, the fight causes him to miss the delivery by just the amount of time that he stopped for. Crushed, Wally blames himself and realizes how selfish he was being. As it turns out, though, the doctor was dirty. He lied. He wanted to steal the heart, so Kid Flash was on time, but the whole moment really shocks Wally. And instead of keeping this cool-ass sword as a souvenir, he takes the backpack that he carried the heart in. The bond between Wally and Dick is an important signifier in both of their roles. Wally as the heart, and Dick as a better Batman. I talked about how Robin was ordered to not disclose anything about his identity, but after the therapy episode, we get a line in episode 21 that hints that Wally knows about Robin's connection to Bruce Wayne.
Gee, Bruce Wayne sure got here fast. Almost like he knew.
In episode 24, we get a confirmation that Wally knows about Dick's past and his connection with Halley's Circus, revealing to the audience that Dick confided in Wally about his upbringing, which is a far cry from his attitude at the start of the show. Calderam is a unique one to talk about because I believe Calder was intended on being an example of a sidekick that is already being treated like an equal. You get this feeling watching the dynamic duo, or the Flashes, in episode 1. Robin is a distraction, Kid Flash takes the initiative, but ultimately it's Batman and the Flash who stop the bad guys. When we see Calder's turn, it's Aquaman who gets stunned for a second, while Calder beats the bad guys. Calder has the heart, he has the intelligence, he just needs the experience. He doesn't jump for joy when being made leader like Wally or Dick would have. He accepts it and he understands the pressure that he is put under. In episode 16, he's willing to die for his team, to put his life on the line for others. He takes point and understands everything so much better than everyone around him. He's the only one who thanks Superboy in episode 2 for freeing them. He acknowledges Superboy's choice, unlike the other two who quip at him and tell him what to do. In episode 25, Calder is the only one from the team who didn't take a step back or gasp when Megon revealed her true white Martian form, which was Megon's greatest fear and insecurity. Calder is the one who needs to think critically about information regarding a possible mole on the team. He is the one to stand up for Red Tornado in episode 15. Calder is the one who makes the decision to stand up publicly in episode 16 when the League is gone. He is forced to make more mature, thought-out, and heroic choices than the others. He needs to be reliable for the entire team, and someone that the entire team can trust and look up to. I'm trying to stick within just season 1 for the purpose of this, but I want to quickly mention that I believe that we see this fully come into fruition when Calder takes over Aquaman properly. Calder is meant to lead and to take over for Arthur. We see Calder setting an example, even in Season 1. Calder is the leader of the team until Dick Grayson is ready to take over. Artemis's role is that of redemption, both for herself and for Green Arrow. Artemis is the daughter of Sportsmaster and sister of Cheshire, both of whom are villains throughout the show that the team has to fight numerous times. Artemis, however, stands differently than them, wanting to do good despite the people that she's related to, and struggles to break free from that past, and constantly feels this need to prove herself. She gets angry at her mom for asking the Justice League to help her, making her view herself as a pity case. She wants to stand alone based on her actions and her own merits. She is the one most heavily suspected of being a mole on the team, due to her being the newest addition, her tension with Wally, and her mysterious past the team is largely unaware of. Artemis is fighting an uphill battle on all fronts, feeling the need to prove her innocence, her heroism to herself, her family of villains, and the friends that have to consider the possibility of her lying to them. The culmination of all of this is when Red Arrow, Green Arrow's former sidekick, joins the team to scout out the mole, causing tension between Artemis and Roy due to Roy feeling like he was replaced, and being aware of the fact that Artemis is lying about her being Green Arrow's niece. The constant pressure of her secret almost being outed, the pressure from people like Roy about being the mole, makes her make bad decisions. In episode 24, thanks to inspiration from Superboy opening up about his conversations with Lex Luthor, Artemis comes clean about her father being Sportsmaster and her sister being Cheshire. To which Robin reveals that he knew the whole time, and that it never mattered. Artemis was always a part of the team. Megon, I believe, shows the importance of family and fitting in. New to this planet, coming from an upbringing on Mars, she's put on the team to learn, to make friends, and to have a place where she can belong. We see this sense of needing a place to belong manifest with her relying on the team and her want to go to a real human school. Calder, Wally, Dick, and even Artemis have places to go outside of the cave, whereas she and Connor don't. The thing with Megon is that despite her ability to shapeshift, she's the one who craves a bit of normal life, but is incapable of fitting in how she wants to. Despite being from Mars, she idolizes and bases her human and even her Martian appearance on the main character from an Earth TV show. While on Earth, she disguises herself as a green Martian, like Manhunter, despite her being a white Martian. On Mars, green Martians are the majority, and being a white Martian is looked down upon. They're seen and treated like lower-class citizens. So when Megon comes to Earth, she uses the green Martian appearance. This is probably due to some sort of something phobia, feeling like she would be even more hated as a white Martian on Earth. I also want to acknowledge that this decision could also stem from wanting to look like her uncle John, who is a hero on Earth and is a green Martian. So as to not be looked at weirdly for being an even more different alien, she sticks to the appearance of one that is already accepted. In episode 25, Megon reveals her true form to the team, her white Martian form. When Megon expresses her concerns, Calder asks if they truly seemed that shallow. Superboy confesses that he knew about her true form since they mind-melded in episode 9, even before they became a couple. Connor is an interesting one to talk about because he is a rather stagnant character in terms of being a sidekick, because he really isn't one in Season 1. Connor, being a clone and combination of Superman and Lex Luthor, struggles bonding with Superman and trusting Lex, both which get him into trouble. When Superman first meets Connor, he's confused, distrusting, and acts kinda coldly to him, making Batman be the one to take care of the sidekicks. When they see each other in the field, Connor asks Superman to teach him the limits of his powers, in which Superman ascribes all of the responsibility onto Batman and leaves. Superman is afraid of taking in and training a sidekick, while Connor is desperate for a connection. He feels bitter and sad that he doesn't have a relationship with Clark. In episode 16, Connor is lamenting over the fact that there are numerous things about Superman that he doesn't know, such as the Fortress of Solitude. In the same episode, Connor repeatedly tries to act more like Superman in an attempt to feel closer to him, with his connection to Superman falling apart. I believe it is this desperation to have a father-like figure in his life that leads him to forming a connection with the other person whose DNA he shares, Lex Luthor. This need that he has to both live up to Superman and be better than him manifests with him relying on Luthor and the unhealthy behavior and his over-reliance on the shields, the things that give him more powers that resemble Superman. The shield patches that Luthor gave him makes him form an unhealthy attachment to them, and to such a degree that it almost jeopardizes the entire team on a mission. After using his last shield, getting angry, and nearly killing Artemis due to his destruction, he comes clean. And I believe it is this realization that Connor truly comes to understand and trust the entire team. And I purposely saved Roy for the last, as he is the antithesis of everyone here. Roy doesn't look up to Green Arrow like Robin does to Batman. Roy knows that he's skilled and thinks that he should be treated just like the grown-up professional heroes, but he doesn't understand why he's not put on the same playing field as the Justice Leaguers. In episode 10, he called the team the Junior League. He says that they aren't in his league. Roy rejects the team several times, despite being friends with Dick, Wilder, and Connor, because he views the team structure as an insult and only views it as a stepping stone to joining the league, rather than a place to grow and to gain a new sort of family.